Ever get the feeling, like when you tell someone you wrote a song?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, cool. But then you say it was with AI. And you get that look.
Yeah.
You know the one, right?
You're like, oh.
That kind of song.
It's like, is that like real songwriting?
Exactly. That's what we're diving into today. This whole idea of AI Dismissal Syndrome.
It's interesting, right? Because it's not like people are being, I don't think it's coming from a mean-spirited place. It's just new, unfamiliar. Like when photography first came around.
Oh, totally.
Some painters were outraged, thought it would be the death of art.
But now, look at it.
Exactly.
So we're talking about Jipul today in this article. And it really resonated, because it's not about trying to prove AI art is better or to say, see, I told you, to the doubters. It's more about how do we even talk about creativity when this whole new set of tools is emerging?
There's a whole new landscape, isn't it? And Poole uses this phrase, AI producer, which I think is really on point.
AI producer, yeah. Instead of writer, musician. All those old labels kind of fall apart a bit.
They do. Because it's not just about the individual craft anymore. It's about the bigger picture, the vision you're bringing together. Think of a film producer, right?
Okay, yeah.
They have the story they want to tell, but they bring in composers, editors, costume designers, all these specialists. Poole's point is that AI can be that whole team, in a way.
Whoa. That's kind of mind-blowing.
It is.
So I'm the director, basically, but I have like this whole team of specialists at my fingertips to help make it real.
Exactly. And suddenly you're not limited by your ability to play an instrument or your coding skills or whatever. It's just your imagination driving the whole thing.
Which, honestly, for creative types, that's usually the part we have no shortage of, right?
Right.
But I can already hear some people saying, hold on, isn't that like cheating?
Sure, and it's a valid question.
If you don't get how it works, yeah.
Right. And Poole brings up a great point. Is a painter cheating by using a brush?
Or a musician and their instrument.
Exactly. It's all about the tools.
And how you use them.
It's like any craft, You use the tools that help you get the job done. Nobody's saying a sculptor is cheating because they use a chisel instead of just, attacking the marble with their bare hands, right?
Right. It's about using what's available.
Exactly. And I think what's really interesting is how Poole talks about using AI, not just as this tool to execute your vision, but to actually spark new ideas.
Yeah, like to get those creative juices flowing.
Exactly. It's almost like, imagine feeding the AI, like a few lines of poetry, or a melody fragment you have stuck in your head, or even like a doodle. And seeing what it comes up with, And
it could take it in a direction you'd never even thought of.
Right. Like it helps you see connections and possibilities that weren't obvious before.
It's like having a brainstorming partner, but one that's plugged into like this infinite database of ideas.
Yeah. And that's where I think this AI producer idea really takes shape, because you're not just executing on your own ideas anymore. You're actively collaborating with the AI to discover something entirely new.
Which is amazing.
Okay.
I'm sure not everyone is quite so on board with all this, right?
Yeah.
Poole even talks about like facing resistance.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Especially from people in more traditional creative fields.
Which, makes sense.
Like if you spent years honing your craft.
Sure, yeah.
It's natural to be a little wary of, this new thing coming in.
Exactly. Change can be scary.
But it's not like AI is here to make all that other stuff obsolete, right?
Right. It's not about replacing, it's about adding to...
Expanding the definition of what it means to be creative.
Yes. Just like photography didn't erase painting, AI isn't going to replace writing or composing.
It's just a new way of doing it.
Exactly. And I think Poole's experience is a great example. He talks about building this portfolio with music and writing and even a podcast.
It's true. He does a bit of everything.
And it really shows the power of this producer mindset. You're not limited to one specific medium.
You can bounce around and experiment.
Yes. And that's where those unexpected connections can happen.
It's like AI unlocks all these different rooms.
Aha, I like that.
In the creative mansion, and you're free to explore.
That's a great analogy, because it really highlights the freedom.
And the possibilities.
Exactly. It's not about limiting your options, it's about multiplying them.
So for someone listening who's maybe just starting out, exploring AI in their own creative process, what advice would you give them? Like, how do they start thinking like an AI producer?
Yeah, it can feel like a little overwhelming at first, right?
Oh, for sure. Like, where do you even begin?
Exactly.
And I think the biggest hurdle, honestly, is letting go of the preconceptions.
Okay.
Like, you don't need to be a tech whiz to do this.
Right.
You don't need to know how to code. And it's not like the AI is just going to spit out a masterpiece if you push the right button.
Yeah, that's the fantasy.
Right.
It's more about the process, the collaboration. Exactly. And that's what I always tell people. Just approach it with a sense of playfulness.
I like
Like
that.
you would with any new creative tool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Experiment, make mistakes, see what happens.
Don't be afraid to break things.
Exactly. Because sometimes those mistakes, those unexpected outputs, that's where the magic happens.
Totally. Like a happy accident.
And as you become more comfortable, you start to see the bigger potential of this AI producer role.
Beyond just like individual projects even.
Right. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible in these creative fields.
Pool even suggests that AI producers are becoming this like
Mm.
new wave of creative professionals.
It's true, and we're already seeing it happen. This new generation of artists and creatives who are fluent in both the traditional art forms and these cutting-edge technologies.
Yeah. It's like they speak both languages.
Exactly, and they're the ones who are going to bridge that gap and redefine what's possible.
It's exciting. So to anyone listening out there who's feeling that AI dismissal syndrome, don't let it get to you. You're on the right track.
Don't let anyone tell you it's not real creativity.
Because it is. Embrace that title, AI producer,
Exactly. Own it.
and keep pushing those boundaries.
Because at the end of the day,
It's about bringing something new into the world.
and AI gives us the tools to do that in ways we never thought possible before.
Which is an incredible thought. So, as always, we want to leave you with something to kind of ponder, maybe. Think about the last time you felt stuck creatively, like you hit a wall.
Oh, I know that feeling well.
Right. We all do. What if AI could help you break through that wall? What new possibilities might open up if you embrace this role of AI producer?
It's worth considering, isn't it?
It really is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time.